I think I might have given him that bloody nose. I remember because he was on the four-wheeler and the rest of us were walking, and I remember being really pissed because he wouldn't let me ride on the four-wheeler with him when I was tired. And I think that I just punched him square in the nose. I think that, yeah, it probably was important to Garrison because it was the first cattle drive that we did
Hi
without
everyone,
the older
thanks for
brothers.
watching the show. Please subscribe and give this episode a thumbs up. Gabe Brown of Sister Wives has been on a journey of healing and recovery since the passing of his brother Robert Garrison Brown. The Brown family history started in the early 1990s when Kody married Mary, Janelle, and Christine Brown, his first three wives. The family became close by accepting their religious and spiritual beliefs as a group. Gabe, the youngest child of Kody and Janelle, born in 2001, was showered with love and care throughout his childhood. Robyn Brown, Kody's fourth wife, was the center of his attention in 2010, which strained his relationship with Janelle and their children. Kody imposed his Co-19 rules on his family and became increasingly domineering. Although some of his children such as Gabe and Garrison obeyed what Dad said, others did not. Ultimately, Kody made Janelle take her sons out of the house and ordered that she follow his orders and do as needed to discipline them. But Janelle refused to make her sons leave the house. Their relationship became strained even more when she placed her son's social life and needs before Kody's. Most of Janelle's children, including Gabe, distanced themselves from Kody after she broke hers with him in late 2022. Garrison and Gabe were very close. The first to hear that Garrison had passed on was Gabe. Kody's family, together with him, has experienced numerous highs and lows. Consequently, they have come to bond closely, especially among his adult children. Gabe and Garrison, Kody's sons, share a special closeness. Both boys stood by each other in family conflicts, and they hung out together. Even their difficult relationship with Kody helped them to be close. Since they were just 3 years different in age and shared similar family conflicts, Gabe and Garrison felt like they had a closer relationship than most of the Brown brothers. The Brown family lost Garrison in March 2024. They regretted his death and paid homage to him in several ways. Losing him had a devastating impact on Gabe, who was very close to Garrison. Having been the first to know about the death of Garrison, Gabe was depressed and saddened. For the succeeding months, Gabe maintained his relationship with his elder brother by getting a tattoo dedicated to him. By spending more time with Gabe to provide emotional support, Janelle also assisted him in coping with the disaster and mourning. Chicago's corniest life is to be loved by Gabe. Janelle recently went to Chicago to visit Gabe. Although it is hard to get over a big loss, such as the loss of a sibling, Gabe is trying very hard to maintain his life normal after Garrison's death. Had dinner with my boys. Gabe is in Chicago. Janelle posted an update of her life on Instagram in April 2025, and to that Gabe replied that he missed his mother. Gabe again updated on Instagram stories in May 2025. He seemed very happy and thanked his fans for their encouragement in the photo that at Lavender Haze posted, "Living my corniest life in Chicago." Gabe also said, "Fans of Sister Wives think Gabe has met someone special." Gabe seemed happy during Valentine's week. Many fans believe Gabe's happiness has come back because he has found someone special. Gabe posted a few photos of himself during Valentine's week in February, looking happy and energetic. Most people believe that Gabe was likely on a love trip with someone upon seeing that another person had taken his photos. But are you falling in love with Chicago or a sweetheart? One fan asked Gabe on Instagram, to which he replied with the shushing face emoji, suggesting that the fan could be correct. Following a trying year, Sister Wives fans are happy that Gabe is finally happy. Maddie Brown of Sister Wives delivers a serious slap to Kody. Maddie Brown brush. Sister Wives starved her father, Kody Brown. She didn't even inform him that she was pregnant with her third child, and they have not been on good terms for quite a while. What did she do? Although she just gave him a stern blow. For more details, keep reading. Maddie Brown gives Kody a stern disc. Things became quite uncomfortable when Sister Wives star Kody Brown was introduced to Maddie Brown Brush's second child. She made it overwhelmingly clear that she did not need his presence in her life or among her children. The main reason was because she thought it was unjust for him to leave her kids in the lurch while he came and went from their lives. She explained that Axel and Evie, her older children, did not know about him. Maddie was angry with her dad because she kept him in the dark concerning her third pregnancy. She had valid reasons for why she did not call him, but Kody did not understand them. Fans have now noticed that Maddie continues to mock her dad. She refers to him by his full name rather than using the term dad. Since Maddie has been helping her mother, Janelle Brown, make life adjustments, she has been a prominent character in season 19. A fan learned that they had bought a farm together and was over the moon for Maddie. Madison refers to her father as Kody Brown. "Neither dad nor my dad. That gives me everything I need to know." Sister Wives viewers all gave a big thumbs up to Maddie Brown Brush's lack of niceness to Kody. They also discussed their own experiences with bad fathers who don't even try. Kody has never owned up to his estrangement from his children. Yet, according to his son, Gabe Brown, it was what he had to do in order to move forward. It doesn't seem like he has changed his mindset much in the wake of the death of his son, Garrison Brown. Bravo, Maddie. Kody Brown's treatment of the OG-13 children has long been hated among Sister Wives fans. Despite his very poor behavior during the pandemic, he feels entitled to personal details about their life. Viewers praise Maddie after hearing her refer to her father by his official name. I was actually proud of her the manner in which she spoke of him. Yes, as my mother and father divorced when I was 12 years old and I gave evidence against him in court. My sperm donor Ken has stayed Ken. Never will he be so lucky again. And I wish he dies a lonely and miserable death because I am no longer his daughter. Since Kody did not spend time with his older children during the Garrison burial, most people considered him to be very self-centered. Fortunately, the children had each other, which was so emotional. Mourning is a peculiar weight that makes every day a silent balancing act between the past and the future. Life after catastrophic loss has been a poignant blend of healing and rededication for the youngest son of a one-time harmonious but now fractured family. The path of life has never been smooth for Gabriel, who grew up at the breasts of a family whose pillars were founded on religious belief and multi-living. Those nearest to Gabriel are familiar with his courteous nature and unwavering commitment. Gabriel grew up in a house that was once a beehive of activity from a large extended family, laughter and religion. He had parents who used to present a common front and siblings who grew up to be like counselors. Shared meals, road trips, warmly celebrated holidays, and the sort of chaos that only large families can truly get are what define those early years. But there was always a sense of community under that noise. When a new dynamic entered their house, all of this began to shift. Distance increased as his father became more and more devoted to another side of the family. One-sided choices took the place of what had appeared to be joint parenting and decision-making, especially amid the pandemic of global health. The formerly equal family living further fragmented as stern limitations were imposed. Gabriel and his brother, who not only shared a bedroom, but also an intense affection for each other, were on the opposite side of their father's steadily more rigid stance. While Gabriel and his brother revolted against the oppressive atmosphere, the gap grew. Their mother defied calls to withdraw them from home because they were gaining autonomy. She would not yield to unreasonable demands due to maternal instinct and love for her children. Her marriage crumbled as a direct consequence of the decision, but she was thoroughly endorsed by her children. Gabriel and his brother clung to each other for comfort and understanding throughout this chaos. There wasn't anything like their dynamic. Their dynamic was essential. It was either spending hours driving through the Arizona landscape, all-night gaming marathons, or uncomfortable silence regarding the future that Gabriel would often cite his brother as being his anchor, the one person who truly understood the complexities of their world. Their shared empathy and similar frustrations formed a lifeline of their relationship. And then the unthinkable occurred. The sudden and horrible death of his brother tore out Gabriel's remaining sense of security in an already rapidly changing world. He was struck by the news with brutal finality. It was he who found him. A personal descent into despair, confusion, and deep grieving started at that very moment. Days ran together, the burden of loss relentless, pain never abating, but time has a way of diminishing its sharp edges. Gabriel found solace in the ways he learned to in the months afterward. And picture, symbol, or word that was carved into his skin was one of his most personal memories. It was a reminder and a vow that his brother's memory would live on in his heart and in every breath he took from then on. His mother, who had already endured so much, upped the ante in attempting to be a comforter and guardian. She told stories, cooked meals, visited frequently, and made space when needed. An unspoken bond created in suffering, but strengthened by uncompromising love, was between them due to their mutual loss. Gabriel came to the realization of getting to a city where anonymity can be therapeutic. Departing from the streets he knew since his childhood days, he began to build something different in a busy city teeming with activity. It was about rebuilding himself amid devastation and not about forgetting. The beat of the city gave him inspiration and distraction. Each interaction, every meal, every artwork, and every strangers turned friends added another stroke to his recovery painting. Images of late-night cafes, city greens, and quiet moments of bliss started appearing online. In one, he gave a shy expression on his face while standing before a mural with his arms crossed. In another, he walked through a crowded marketplace and laughed unreservedly. It was a comeback, not a transition that observers witnessed. Although it had made room for hope, the heaviness had not receded. During a time often associated with public displays of affection, he posted images that appeared tender and intimate in nature. There was clearly apparent joy, although he did not name the individuals or offer context. One golden hour photo showed him looking off into the distance with contemplative eyes. Excitement and curiosity burned through the comments. Mildly fanned speculations on whether someone special had become a part of his life. The curiosity only grew stronger with his coy reply, which was a simple emoji that did not confirm or contradict. When his mom came over, she mentioned a dinner he and another sibling had shared. Even though it was a passing remark in the midst of a larger update, it sent across a significant message. He was still keeping in touch with his heritage and with her. In this new setting, the emphasis on their shared meals was more on presence than on tradition. Healing occurred in the quietness between bites. As days turned into weeks, Gabriel began to call the life he was living here in this new city the ate and rambled existence. He called it his corniest life to acknowledge the little things that filled his days now. Each moment added to his new idea of peace. From a whim to go to the neighborhood museum, to late-night conversations lit by string lights, to long strolls with a hot cup in his hand. All who looked on from afar knew that Gabriel was not just enduring. Instead, he was learning to live again. His day-to-day choices and moments of self-reflection were always filled with his brother's memory. He talked to him with love and respect instead of the immediacy of initial bereavement. He had discovered a larger sense of direction in his sorrow. He gave away resources that dealt with well-being and mental health on certain days. In other cases, he called upon individuals to contact their parents, friends, or brothers and sisters and inform them about what matters before it is too late. Unnoticeably and quietly, he was a voice for others who were going through similar darkness. Gabriel has made up his mind to keep on walking even though roads kept on twisting and reappearing shadows every now and then. He carries the memory of the individual he lost with him in each step, not as a burden, but as a beacon. He is remaking himself as a complete person in the city, now that has his heart in new beginnings and joy. Healing does not mean forgetting, after all. It means going on with love in your heart even in its pain. It means choosing happiness even in remaining sadness. It means to show respect for the past in building a future that includes its deepest lessons. And that is what Gabriel is doing in his own subdued, cheesy manner. A father-daughter conflict has been quietly building for years in the complicated weave of a renowned family featured on a hit reality show about polyfamilies. This strong boundary-healthy daughter recently made headlines when she publicly chastised the man who was once a dominant figure in her life. The daughter's refusal to share major life events with her father sent shockwaves along their shared story, and their long-brewing estrangement recently took a sharper, more public form. The main character of this story has made it very clear that she and her father have an estranged and strained relationship. She deliberately chose not to inform him about her enlarging family, and that made him frustrated and confused. But years of dashed hopes and periodic participation in her and her children's lives are a strong root in the foundation of this silence. A difficult history of disconnection and distance from once a traditional father-daughter bond. It has evolved into an unstable, detached one with emotional upheaval and unmet expectations. The difficulty of having a father who existed in alternate patterns of involvement and non-involvement was one this daughter had known firsthand. She noticed how her children, especially her eldest, lived in ignorance of this man's identity and his planned role. She felt her children deserved stability and consistency and that it was not right to allow them to have this pattern of off and on presence. There was a lot of awkwardness and emotional tension when her father eventually met her second child. She spoke her mind freely, making it clear that he was not needed and even unwanted. This was not a mere argument but a statement of boundaries that she felt compelled to establish for her family's sake, not merely a spat. Choosing silence over argument, members of a family typically welcome the arrival of a new child in their midst together. But this lady opted for silence instead of informing her father. The man who once longed to be included in this chapter felt confused and angry about her choice to conceal the newest addition to her family. This silence was confusing and awkward to him, yet it was a protective gesture to her, a shield against further hurt and inconsistency. Her decision to move away from her father is symptomatic of a broader story in which the terms of their relationship were shaped by unresolved resentment and emotional neglect. It's well to see the protective mechanisms driving her behavior instead of judging her as cold or ungenerous. This was a daughter who, despite the fact that it meant alienating the father who shared her DNA, chose peace and stability for herself and her kids. Support and understanding by the public, family, fans, and show viewers alike have observed the deliberate space this woman maintains from her father, particularly the fact that she refers to him by his full name rather than using family colloquialisms such as dad or father. This choice has not been unnoticed as many perceive it as a quietly powerful expression of emotional space and self-definition. To create solidarity with the daughter's actions, proponents of her side of the issue often compare experiences about shattered family relationships and absent fathers. They commend her for standing up for herself and her children and for refusing to accept inconsistency or abandonment as a standard. This cooperative sympathy transcends individual issues of one particular high-profile family to illustrate the commonality of such family problems. The struggle of the father and lack of accountability. The father, in the meantime, has struggled to comprehend the reason why this gap is widening. His daughter's supposed non-participation and communication are the reasons for his frustration and confusion. Most critics point out, though, that his inability to take responsibility for creating this gap is the reason why. He does not seem willing to own up to the estranged relationships with his children. Even after years of erratic participation and emotional unavailability in a quest for inner peace, even the father's other children have also come out and talked about the necessity of creating space from intricate family dynamics. A son openly stated that creating space from other people was a difficult but necessary step in the journey towards healing and growth. Meanwhile, tragedy struck the family with the loss of a second son, which was a great source of sadness, but seemed to have no impact on the father's conduct in his relationships. A widening chasm during family development in graphic contrast to her relationship with her father. Recent public interactions by the daughter with her mother. Her efforts at helping to transform and rebuild their lives together open a new era in their lives. In purchasing a country home that symbolizes renewal and stability, mother and daughter embarked on creating something new and solid. Over the course of the latest season of the family's reality television show, observers have become accustomed to seeing the daughter, highlighting her determination to have a better life. She has won much praise and affection for not reverting to a pattern of relying on a father who was not consistently there. A fan's emotional moment of truth. The choice of the daughter to address her father by his first name has come to symbolize rejection of a dysfunctional parental bond and emotional autonomy. For both allies and witnesses, it is a provocative statement, withholding from the man the implicit distinction and closeness that arise in being a father. With social media and fan forums, countless individuals have posted their own personal stories about parents who were absent or inconsiderate in their attempt to be appreciative and united. Their responses reinforce the deep relatability of the story by touching on universal issues of self-defense, disillusionment, and boundary drawing. The actions of the father after the tragedy. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Get more updates daily. See you soon.